What it do, man? It's your boy Jug, WDS-TV, man. We back. I got two special guests here with me, man. Dominique Teasley and Jarvis Fontaine, man. These guys doing some great work in the community in Alexandria, Louisiana. And I just want y'all to know a little bit about what they got going on, hear their stories, and just hear the past and the future and the plans. And that's what it is, man. So y'all introduce yourself, tell them where y'all from, what y'all got going.
All right, man. Look, I'm Jarvis Fontaine from Alexandria, Louisiana. Right now, currently, I'm a registered addiction counselor. Work at a nonprofit, doing a lot of outreach, community work on the ground, connecting the people in the community who need either resources, want to go to treatment, want to try to do something different. I also like trying to get my education and go back to school. Hopefully, be graduating from Northwestern soon. So just taking care of my family, man. Just trying to be responsible, trying to help people out, help myself out, and just keep moving
Be a
forward.
productive citizen. God
Yep,
damn me, because we was unproductive for a long time.
right.
Right.
You
What's
know,
up,
Dominique, same for you, man.
Dominique Teasley, man. I'm also a registered addiction counselor. I'm an advocate for those people who struggle with substance misuse, mental health issues. I work for a couple organizations. I work for Central Louisiana Human Service District. I'm a lead on what's called a mobile crisis team, where we got people in the ERs, we go into the jails, we go into the schools, connect with people, give education, bring awareness to addiction and stuff like that. Uh, so and also, I have Project Rebuild, and that's kind of, I when I was in that other lifestyle, the last time I got busted, I was busted by the state police, and it was called the Meth Project. So when I came on this side, when I started getting myself together, I said, man, you know what? I'm gonna start my own project, Project Rebuild, and it's just advocating and connecting with people with substance misuse and mental health issues. Just trying to give back.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, let me shout out Class Healthy Living for All. That's where I'm employed at right now, and we do. I'm a resource coordinator. We got this overdose prevention program called Fresh Works, where we connect to people who still engaged in using, and make sure they got supplies, nasal Narcan, the overdose reversal drug, fentanyl test strips, so they can test their supplies. Peer support specialists that can connect with them and walk them through the process. Um, so we just doing a lot of work on the ground, connecting the people too. Wanted to give a shout out to Class Healthy Living for All in Alexandria, Louisiana.
That's amazing, bro. That's amazing for real. To be proactive, knowing people gonna get
Yep.
use substances. You know what I'm saying? We can't ignore it. We can ignore it and think everybody gonna just quit, but we also got to give them the resources they need. That if you're gonna live that life, at least be, it's as safe as possible.
Yep, we trying to
You know,
reduce or eliminate harm associated with it. Like we ain't condoning, we not pushing nothing, but like you said, Judge, people go do what they go do, so we can keep them as safe as possible. We can keep them alive. Then we can make sure they connect to treatment. They can connect to resources. They can reconnect to their families or whatever it is they got that they value. You know.
yes,
Hmm.
sir. All right, so we're gonna take it back first. We're gonna go back down in history, and then we'll build up to that. So I might ask both of y'all practically the same question. Dominique, me and you got history. We went on a major run uh, around 2000, 2001. Uh, when Royal was coming through, you know what it was. That was your play. And I just was the assist man. You know what I'm saying? So give them a little bit on your background and just where you came from to get you to this point.
uh, it's that's easy, man. I grew up in a little neighborhood called Woodside. We got McDonald Street over there. And so McDonald Street was, that's the dead end, and DA dead end alliance. So my neighborhood was practically a part of the screwed up clique. So culturally,
Fast.
I just wanted to be a South Side player. after I couldn't play basketball no more, messed my knee up. So all I ever wanted to do was be player, sip serve, and ride swangers and get money. That's it. And through that process, I had never, heard what a addiction was, and I never thought that somebody like me would end up with one. So for years, Mike, that's what I did. I lived the street life, hustled. I went to the Marine Corps, didn't stay there long, in and out of prison, uh, jail, hustling, just living that lifestyle. Uh, until that lifestyle developed into addiction, and that took me down a different route. And so, it took me down a dark, dark path, and I ended up, coming out of that, and coming on this side, being able to, help other people.
Yeah. Jarvis, give us a little bit on your background. And I was there to witness, man. Like I say, man, Dominique, that's my little bro, man. Uh, he came in my life, I think, at a great time, and I think I came in his life at a great time. Yeah, we was doing
Yeah,
a lot of negativity, but I think he'll tell you he learned a lot from me, and I
yeah,
picked up a lot of game from him. Just being he loyal. You know what I'm saying? He's
hmm,
loyal as they come, and that's his best characteristic, loyalty, man.
yeah. I remember.
So,
Straight up.
Well,
Jarvis,
I
tell us a little
always
bit about your.
but Mike, during that
Go
time
ahead.
though, I'm not gonna glorify it, but just culturally, like during that time, really felt like it wasn't no words in the world. I remember, just cases and cases and cases of, that activist and Al Farmer, and just living that lifestyle, not a worry in the world. Um, and and then I remember when the ecstasy came along, and living that lifestyle, moving
Yeah,
that, and like it just, if I could take a snapshot, of that, of the good times, it was all good. But I always say, boy, if you just play the tape all the way through, it get to some dark times. But it was good. It was good. We had a run. It was always love. Your family treated me like family. Your wife, Renee, she used to, accept me over there, and you taught me a lot. And I always say, like you had mentioned, Roy Lowe, when you think about the streets, when like what you gave me and what like Roy gave me in the streets, it was everything they had. It was like $1 million. It was gold, like I'm giving you this game with no intentions on you ever being hurt, but with all the intentions on you being able to survive, you being able to take care of yourself, you being that, like just being a big brother. And I'll touch on that later too, about how the system kind of, use us up, but it was good. And I appreciate you for everything you did. And look, I'll never forget when we was coming from Houston, and I got hit on the highway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll never forget the girl I was with. Boy, that was she ended up getting locked up with me. That was her first time. Ain't eat for days. Boy, I always think about that. Boy, I say, Lord have mercy. The stuff we was doing. But yeah, I'm just glad to be on this side, man, alive and well. And I appreciate you.
Yeah, yes, indeed. In that move, we was actually rest in peace to Rollo and Steph. Remember we used Steph Mama car for the
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was Hurricane Katrina. I definitely remember that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and I did. When you fail, I did everything you needed me to do. It was just a probation situation, and wasn't nothing I can do except for send some
Uh-uh.
bread and wait on you to come home. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jarvis, give us a little bit on your background, man. You and I got in common that we both went to prison in Texas. So, what led to that? What led up to that point in your life where you had that indiscretion?
Oh man, shit. Majority of my time was done in Texas. TDCJ, man. But I don't know. I guess like looking back, man, it was so many like connections, whether it be through family connections or um, neighborhood connections. It seemed like I always had access to whatever I needed, or whatever I wanted to do. And it really was easy for me to make certain connections like in the city or in that area. So going back and forth in that area, it was a good little run, but eventually, like all things that catch up to me or it caught up
What
to me, and
what go up must come down.
must come down. But the crazy thing about that is until I got on this side, I always used to think like that's all that it was. Like, okay, I know the consequences. I know if I keep living this lifestyle, I know if I keep hitting that highway, I know if I keep taking these trips, eventually I'm gonna have to go sit down again. I know
Yeah.
eventually, I know eventually, the people that I'm dealing with, they gonna end up catching cases. They gonna end up having things going on with them, so you never know what's going on with the other person. So eventually I'm gonna have to deal with some consequences. But in my mind, the entire time of me going back and forth from prison, sitting down, I always came back home with the same game plan, you know. Um, I don't know, man. It's good to be on this side of this side, going forward, being able to look back because I'm able to tell people like, look, you need to find you something else to do because like, and then it got to a point with me where they wasn't giving out them 3 years and them 5 years no more. They started coming at me with 25 and 35, so
Hello.
yeah, and so today is just a little bit different game. I always tell people they can have that game, man. They can have the streets, bro, because throughout that process, I lost a lot of people. Um, a lot of my partners end up going to prison. Some of them still in prison. I don't know. Big disconnect between me and my family. Having to rebuild those relationships, rebuild trust, connect back to, just show people like, hey, I'm doing something different. I got different goals and values. I'm walking a different path, So, that's it,
Yeah,
man.
definitely. That's what come with the streets, man. At the time we couldn't see it. Like you said just now, I reflected like when I first moved to Houston, man, I was scared to death because all my licks and all my money is in Louisiana.
Yeah,
But thank God I moved to Texas and made it work.
yeah,
But I was scared to death because that's all we knew, and everybody we knew that was rich got rich off doing what? The streets.
that's it.
But we don't know none of them that's free. So I'm thinking about all this. Now, mind you, I'm investing in music. So I never really wanted to be a kingpin. I wanted to be a successful rapper. You know what I'm saying? And just the dope game was my gateway into that. But I get what you're saying, but that's all we knew. But that was the only way I knew how to finance my rap career. If I'd have
Exactly.
known back then what I know now,
Oh yeah,
I would have started a business, get that paying my bills so I could focus on rap 100%. I ain't got to worry about going to prison. I get scorching hot, go do 2 years, you come back out to start from ground zero. On the money side, on the music side, you lost your buzz. So yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
I
all we
get it.
knew at the time.
I get it. And then, like for to even have something like your music, right? You already know you had a dream, you had goals of being a rapper. You know,
Yep.
I can look back and I know I wasn't that fortunate. Like I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and I really thought that the only way I could take care of my family, was let me take that back. I knew I can do other things, but I didn't think that if I did them, I'd be as successful with making sure my kids are straight, my wife, the bills are straight. It's like that lifestyle just gave me a different way of looking at things. So able to sit down long enough, look back at your life and come up with some goals, start looking at your future saying this is what I want to be, like it came later in life for me, man. But
We
I'm
was
still
I
grateful.
always like
And
to
I remember
say, but
I remember what you say, brother.
no, go ahead.
No, I was saying I remember the times coming down there to Houston too, sitting connecting with Jug, and Jug having to
Mhm.
go, you know, take us because we ain't have a plug no more. He had to go take us certain places to make sure we connected to certain people. So I remember whenever I used to come to that city and have to connect and shake hands with Jug, man, because he was
Mhm.
one of the people from Alexandria that we trusted and we knew that was on. You know,
Yeah.
so
And I want to see my family on. I,
Right.
you know, I'm just
Right.
one of them
Yeah.
people, man. I want
Yeah.
everybody around me rich. If you know me, I
Right.
want you rich. But
Right.
yep,
say what you was finna say, Dominique.
No,
Another
I was
thing.
saying, I was thinking earlier that us in the streets, how like I was thinking about like some of the rappers they were saying, F the streets, and then some of the rappers was saying, never F the streets because the streets made me. And earlier, man, it just that thought crossed my mind and said that us in the streets and that culture of hustling and that culture of, that lifestyle, that street lifestyle, we probably the biggest Stockholm syndrome ever. Because you gotta think like we programmed to this agenda pushed on us, we believe it, we fall for it, and then when we try to pull out of it, when we start to know better and do better, like we shamed for it. It's almost like we protect a system of dysfunction, almost like you. And then I was thinking about how you know. The prison systems and the record labels, big media, how these investors, how they so interconnected through these investors. Like you got Vanguard, these investors, but they connected to Geo and all these, private prison people, and then they got investments with Warner Brothers and Viacom and stuff like that, and how the system kind of just, kind of push us and make us believe and program us to believe that that's the way. And then if we pull out of it, we scared to pull out of it because we got people going with that Stockholm syndrome. They're gonna attack you. They're gonna say, "Man, you lame. Nobody want to hear that lame. Man, you talking about you ain't in the streets." But really and truly, it get people who when they start to see the truth, they scared to pull away from it because they don't want to be seen a certain way, because also they don't have no identity. And if I don't have no identity, then I'm just gonna continue to roll with it, you know what I mean? And so it's just kind of,
Yeah, yeah.
seeing that, seeing the truth in it, and being like, man, like we really been fooled. Like we the biggest case of Stockholm syndrome ever. Like we been groomed, like, and then we accept that as our identity, but it really isn't, So just learning that stuff like that, Mike, coming on this side and learning, like, bro, like we so much more than that. Think about if you knew what you knew how to, if you knew you could boom, make as much money as you making, without hustling, without leaving Renee and the kids, without going to prison. If we knew that stuff, like, you think we just would choose to do that? Nah. And just being able to identify, like, man, we really been bamboozled. We really been tricked, and being, just seeing it and doing something different. That's what it's really about, and then passing it down. Like now you could tell your little nephew or your kinfolk, nah, you finna go get your CDL. I'm finna show you how to take this box
Yeah.
truck. I'm finna show you how to take this and make this like real dope boy money. And you ain't gotta worry about going to prison. So just, being able to see it clear nowadays, Mike.
Listen,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
I've that like y'all get boys off the dope. I get boys out the streets. You feel me? I got
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of 10 of my partners that got their CDL now. And I was the first, I was the guinea pig. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I went tried it first and say, hey man, this here gonna take care of you. Like it may not be, you ain't gonna have the time you have. So the leisure time is what spoils the comfortability. We able to
Mm-hmm.
do what we want, wake up when we want, and move when we want. You're not gonna have that. But in terms of financial, you won't have financial issues. And I got 10 of my
Mm-hmm.
partners that got CDL and full-time truckers. And man, they thank me at least once a week.
Yeah.
Y'all can
Cause
hear that?
but guess what, Mike? Somebody showed you how to take that Pyrex too. Somebody took you by your hand and showed you with the Pyrex what to do with it. So it's the same thing on this side. You had to take their hand and show them, not just tell them.